Hey everyone, this is Raven Many Voices, and today I'd like to talk about some incense or smudge herbs that we use quite often. And I'm talking about sage, cedar, and sweetgrass. So, if you're not familiar with smudging, smudging is the act of using a um, a type of herb like sage or cedar, lighting it on fire and wafting that smoke over you. The herb, sage or cedar, have antibacterial, antimicrobial properties and actually help to purify the air and also purify our skin as we waft that smoke over us. This herbs actually also, as we inhale them, can actually help us within us too, helping to fight those flu germs and bugs that are in our nasal cavities and our throats actually. And then energetically, these herbs also help to wash away negative energy, entities, or any kind of klingons of energy that you may have going through your transformation, or helping and being around other people that are going through illness or transformation or a hard time. Anytime we're processing or awakening our energies, there is a transformation process where those negative energies around us are released. So, smudging your space, your office, your doctor's office, or even your home can be a powerful thing, helping to release those energies and entities back to their own space, back to their own home, helping to cleanse and clear your space. We would also use smudging in ceremony to help prepare. We would waft that over our tools to help purify our tools and our space. Again, cleaning that slate so that you have a clean plate to be able to focus your intention into your ceremony that you're creating, being that for healing or even vision questing, looking for that insight and what's next in your life. You can also use that before meditation, which is also a ceremony and connecting to your spirit guides or yourself. Again, that smudging process can be quick, lighting it on fire and wafting it over you. Sage is very, very popular and comes in lots of different forms. There's actually lots of different kinds of sage, and one of the really interesting things is that there is sage in every part of North America. Every tribe had their own sage that they worked with, be it coastal sage, high plains sage, the white sage of Northern California, and down into New Mexico. White sage we see very often in bundles with the large white leaves. It can be dried together into a bundle, it can be broken up into individual pieces, or wrapped with embroidery floss to make a smudge stick. The other type of sage that we see is called high mountain or desert sage. Desert sage is actually technically in the mugwort family, but we call it a sage from that beautiful sweet smell. Again, it can be gathered together and put into a smudge stick, or you can gather it loose like we've done here. This is actually gathered from sagebrush in eastern Washington and taken off the sticks and made into loose to be burned in a bowl. You can also, that bowl, let me talk about that bowl for a second. Bowl is really up to you what kind of a bowl or vessel you want to burn. The bowl really acts to be able to hold that fire that you're applying to the sage and the little bits of burnt sage that fall off. You can use a shell like this, an abalone shell, to help hold your sage. You can see in the bottom I've lined it with aluminum foil to protect the shell, because if it gets too hot it can burn through, like that hole you can see right there. So a little bit of aluminum foil or sand on the bottom can help you from burning through the shell. Shell is very traditional, particularly here in the West Coast tribes, because they had access to shells, but it also is that balance between fire and water. You're actually introducing all four elements: water for the shell, fire for that fire, lighting the smudge on fire. The herb, the smudge, be it sage or cedar, is earth, and air is the smoke that rises up. I like the shell because it includes all four elements. Some people also like to use wood. This is a beautiful wood carved bowl from a sacred tree, and then made into a bowl shape. Again, you can burn your smudge at the bottom of the bowl. You can also use a clay pot or earthenware, again, that earth element holding that smudge. You can also use metal if you'd like. Some people like little metal cauldrons to be able to burn their smudge in. Or a censer, which again is a metal or a ceramic container with holes in it that allows the smoke to be able to come out. No matter what vessel, just be sure that it can hold the fire and not burn other things it may be sitting on. Once you've decided your container, gather your sage. You can gather it from the wilds, or you can buy it at a local store or online. Sage in all its different forms, again, you want that smoke to produce. Sometimes you have to break apart the strings to get enough air in there to really make a nice thick smoke. Again, wafting that smoke and cleansing yourself. Cedar is another beautiful herb that we can use to cleanse ourselves. Cedar is actually pretty popular in our plantings in our yards. This is a flat leaf cedar, and most cedars is denoted by that flat, scaly, fern-like shape to its leaves. Be it western cedar, which is a red bark cedar, or yellow cedar, more found in the eastern United States. These cedars make wonderful incense. Again, you can pick them loose, or you can gather them together and bundle it into a smudge stick. Cedar, unlike sage, is both a cleansing and a blessing, which is really cool. So you can light it to bless and cleanse your area, but it also is very pleasing to the spirits. Cedar and some of the oldest incense that was used, like sage, and is found all around the world. Aromatic or incense cedar is found in some of the oldest trees in Lebanon, where peoples of ancient times burnt cedar again to please the gods and goddesses for the help, but also to cleanse people that walked into the temples. They'd also use the bark or the wood to carve sacred statues that they would then represent the gods and goddesses. So you can use, again, cedar to cleanse and to bless at the same time. Again, wonderful smell. And cedar, again, just the smell of it, even without burning it, can bless that area. Your sacreds, be that your sacred tools that you store it with, like sage, you can do the same. It actually repels bugs. So sage and cedar were oftentimes put into blankets, boxes, and sacred things like shields, feather fans, rattles to keep the bugs from eating away at these sacred tools. So you can use these things to protect your sacred tools too. Other things that we can use for saging or smudging ourselves is lavender is a beautiful one. Juniper is another popular one we use. The balsamo wood. There is a lot of different herbs and woods that you can use. There's some handy books out there on creating your own aromatherapy and sage and smudging herbs. So browse around in your garden. What different herbs may you have in your herb garden? You can use thyme or basil. Although culinary sage doesn't smell the greatest when burning it. But you can grow, depending on your climate, some of these things you can grow yourself, like the cedar or even the sages you can grow in pots and be able to grow your own smudging herbs. You can blend these herbs together. That makes beautiful smell and is very fun. Now, sweetgrass. I did sweetgrass at the very end because this one oftentimes gets put together with sage. Sweetgrass is separate from sage. This is a blessing. So after you have blessed yourself with the sage and cleansed away that negative energy, you would burn sweetgrass to make those spirits happy and to bring those helpful spirits to you to help you. You don't want to do sweetgrass first. You want to do sage first. And this is a very common mistake a lot of people make. Sweetgrass, again, has a very pleasant smell. It is a grass, and some people actually find it pretty easy to grow. So another one that you can grow and braid into this shape. Sweetgrass can be quite long in the braids that you get, but again, wonderful smell and a very pleasing to the spirits when you burn it. So after, again, you saged and smudged yourself, you can light the sweetgrass to bring those helpful spirits in to help you with your ceremony. So I hope that this gave you some ideas of maybe what you have around you can use as a smudge, how to smudge, and also what different ones do what. Are they cleansing and purifying, or are they a blessing? If you have any more questions about this and want to learn more, check out my website, ravenmedium.com, or also check out my class on smudging on learnitlive.com/Raven. Thank you so much for watching my video today, and blessings to you in your smudging and working with these herbs. These plant people came forward to help us, so be sure that you include these in your tools and sacred ceremonies. They can enhance and bless all that you do with a lot of power and love. Blessings to all of you on your day with Spirit. Namaste.